Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lindsay and this is Waldorf Inspired Roots, where we share our Waldorf inspired homeschool journey and family adventures. Today I'll be sharing our daily and weekly rhythms and what that looks like for our family. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and say hello down in the comments. So first I wanted to discuss the importance of rhythm in a child's life. If you think about it, there is an inherent rhythm to our bodies and from the breath we take to our heartbeats, and there's a rhythm in nature with the changing of the seasons and the moon cycles and the sunrise and sunset and the rotation of the earth, and everything has a rhythm. And the reason why that's so important to a young child is because they can't necessarily read a clock, but if they at least have some sort of an idea of what is going to follow what they're currently doing, and if they sort of have an idea of what's coming next, a lot of times it can prevent things like temper tantrums and inconsistency, and it helps them to feel comforted and secure and safe. And so rhythms are very important for that reason. Now, there is a difference between a schedule and a rhythm, and the difference is a schedule follows a clock. You have a very specific thing that you do at a very specific time. And a rhythm is knowing that something follows something else, and we do things in a particular order, but not necessarily following a clock. Now, a schedule works well for some families, and a rhythm might work better for others. For our family, we kind of do a combination of a schedule rhythm and how we work that for us, and I think my advice is to build your rhythm around things that are for sure unchanging. And for our home and for our family, the things that are unchanging are meal times. We eat meal times at roughly the same time every day. And the other big thing that is unchanging is that I have an in-home preschool, and a very small in-home preschool, and I have several kids who come that are around the same age as my 2.5-year-old. They range from 2.5 to 5, and so the unchanging thing is what time they arrive and what time they go home. And so we kind of have built our schedule around that, and also have worked in to my 15-year-old's homeschool schedule what works for us that kind of goes with how the preschool runs and things like that, so that he has time that is dedicated to what he needs for his education, that where it's uninterrupted or quieter and things like that. And so it took us a while to come up with a schedule that really worked for us, and schedule/rhythm. And I say that because we do have a schedule. We have certain times that things have to happen because of when kids come and go, but we also, once all the kids are here and have arrived, we do follow more of a rhythm, and we don't necessarily follow the clock. We definitely do things for a pretty average time every day, and so it might seem like we're kind of going off the clock, but there are days that things change and that our rhythm changes slightly. For example, if we have a day where it's just gorgeous outside and the kids want to be outside, I obviously am going to encourage that, and so we might spend more time outside that day and less time doing something else or an indoor activity. And so that's kind of where things change a little bit, and we still do things in the same order, but not necessarily following the clock. So I do have our daily and weekly rhythm here. I had put this together and we have it on our wall. Now, there's no times on here because, again, even though I know what time the kids are going to begin arriving, Monday through Friday is when the preschool age kids come. And so I have, on one side, I have what the rhythm is for the preschool, and on the other side I have what the rhythm is for my 15-year-old son, because his rhythm is obviously slightly different. So the way that our rhythm works, my 2.5-year-old has a really hard time waking up for in the morning. He likes sleeping and he likes sleeping in. So typically the preschool kids, the first ones start showing up around 8:30. And so my 15-year-old, his name is Mikey. That's why it says that on here. Well, it's Michael, but we call him Mikey. But he will typically be down here to welcome the kids. So we've got arrival and welcoming of the kids. And then once they've all arrived, which is typically by around 9, give or take, we take the kids outside. And I typically go outside with them. And Mikey sits down at our dining room table and he will start working on his morning basket. I do have a video coming out. It might already be out by the time this video comes out, actually. But it's going to show what is in my 15-year-old's morning basket. But he has this morning basket, and that takes him roughly an hour. So typically, we have the preschool kids try to stay outside until my 15-year-old finishes his morning basket, which is typically about an hour. Once he finishes that, then we can bring the kids back inside and begin the rest of the things that we do. But that gives my 15-year-old time to have it quiet in here for him to work on his morning basket. And then, so once we have the kids back inside, we have snack, and Mikey will have snack too. And then I begin circle time either on the carpet or at our dining room table. I will begin circle time, and while we're doing circle time, which lasts for about a half hour, give or take, my 15-year-old will typically go upstairs and he works on his reading. He has a chapter book that he has to read, and whenever he finishes one, he'll move on to the next one. So he'll go upstairs and read, and then after he's finished typically he'll get through about a chapter, sometimes more, but typically a chapter. And once he's finished reading, he'll come downstairs, and once circle time is over, we start our activities. And we typically will have one activity going on at the dining room table, and that's the one that I'm sort of directing. And then the kids are able to do some free play here with some of the things that are in these bins, and or we'll have an activity going on at the small table that Mikey will help with. And so that's the time after circle time is for activities, and my Mikey will help me in the classroom and help me direct the whatever kids I'm not working with at the time, because I try to do a little bit more. I usually have 2 kids with me so that I can, help them with whatever we're doing that day. And so the things that we do for the activities I have as part of our weekly rhythm. Mondays are for painting, Tuesdays are for gardening, Wednesdays we don't have preschool because my older son has a homeschool co-op group that he's part of. And after that, then we go to a local small farm and we help out on the farm so that we can have that experience to get us a little bit more knowledgeable for our upcoming plans to hopefully start a homestead. So Thursdays are for handwork and modeling, and Fridays are for baking or crafts. And so that's what we would do during this activities time. Now, typically when we are doing baking, we will all do it together, but a lot of the other things, it's easier for me to have, about two kids working with me at a time, and the other kids are doing a lot of pretend play, a lot of building activities. Sometimes we will get out card games and things and kind of have something going on at the small table. So that is when Mikey is my classroom assistant, and that's a way for him to earn some money throughout the week. And I give him, some monetary payment for helping me, but it also gives him some, child development experience, and we are counting it as a class because he's learning how to care for kids, and so we count that as, a class for him. Then after we finished our main activities, then the kids move on to music and movement, and we do that every day. And while we're doing music and movement, Mikey will help to make the kids their lunch, and then we all eat lunch together. And then after lunch, the kids have rest time. They're not required to take a nap, but we do encourage them to. We have nap mats, and we want them to sit or lay on their nap mats. They can read books, or have quiet time activities that we do, or they can nap if they need one. And while we're doing that, Mikey is usually at the table doing his main lessons. Now, his main lessons that he does change every day. So in the morning, he has his morning basket, and that touches base on, a little bit of every subject, but he has 5-minute, workbooks that are 5 minutes a day, workbooks to touch on everything. But then he has his main lessons, and he does algebra every day because that's an area that he's struggling with a little bit. And so he does work on algebra every day. And then in addition to algebra, on Mondays he does world history, Tuesdays he does biology, Wednesdays again we do the co-op and we're at the farm. Thursdays he does writing, and Fridays he does world history. He has world history twice a week because we still have a long way to go, and we're trying to get through it before next year where he'll move into another history. So he does that twice a week. And so the kids have their rest time typically for about 2 hours, and so that gives Mikey about 2 hours to work through his main lessons. Once the kids start getting up, we take them outside, and their parents all start coming. And so while the kids are outside and their parents are coming, Mikey will do his chores, and then once the kids go home, the rest of the day is his until dinner time. And then he will typically, help me make dinner sometimes, or we'll run errands on occasion if we have to. But that's kind of how our rhythm goes. That's rhythm/schedule, and it stays the same every day. Now on Saturdays and Sundays, the kids are not the preschool kids are not here also, and so on Saturdays that's typically our cleaning day, and we try to clean as a family. It doesn't always happen that way, but we definitely give it our best effort. And Sundays we go to church, and most often we go to the kids' grandma's house, and we have family time with the cousins and the uncles and grandma. And so that's kind of our weekly and daily rhythms. Now for every family, the rhythms or schedules will look a little bit different, and that is what we've found works for us. But the importance isn't what your rhythm and schedule look like, it's just trying to implement one and put something together to allow for consistency and stability for a kid's day. And so I hope some of that was helpful. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section, and I would love to answer any questions you might have. And if there's any videos that you would like to see or have questions about, please also leave those down in the comments, and I will do my best to try to make some videos that you guys are interested in seeing. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. you.